fifth graders, welcome to lesson 7.1, dividing whole numbers by fractions. Are you ready? Today's objective is I can divide whole numbers by fractions by creating models and proving with formulas with 100% accuracy in multiple attempts. Please pause now to type the I can and by statement into your digital math notebook. All right, friends, remember that the I icon means that you're watching me. So on this first slide, we're going to talk about our steps. Steps for dividing a unit fraction, that means that there's a 1 on the top, by a whole number. This is going to be really important throughout the whole unit, so keep this in mind. Our first step is going to be to keep the same fraction. So I'm going to keep 1/6. Then I'm going to change, because the opposite of dividing is multiplying, so I'm going to change to a multiplying sign, and then I'm going to flip the second sign over. And we know that 3 has an invisible 1 underneath it because every whole number does. So if I flip it upside down, I'll have 1/3. And now look, we just have a multiplying fraction problem, which we just finished. So we should be able to do that. We're going to go straight across the top and straight across the bottom. 1 times 1 is 1, and 3 times 6 is 18. And then if we needed to simplify, we would. In this case, we don't. Let's look at what this looks like in a model. On the right side here, we have 1/6 divided by 3. So 1/6 would mean that I only have one of these lines colored in. But then I'm going to divide by 3. So that means I'm going to take this and I'm going to divide it into 3 rows. So now you can see I have 18 pieces, but I only have one row that's filled in. So this would give us 1/18. One piece after we draw the lines. Let's practice again together. All right, guys, now we have this in our digital math notebook. You should have a spot that looks just like mine in order to give your answer and some lines to click and drag to make your model the same as mine. So here is our steps. Our first step is to keep. Now, the reason why we do keep, change, flip is because when we divide, we're doing the opposite of dividing. We're multiplying to find how many total pieces I'm making. So let's look at our model first this time. If I have 1/2, that would mean that I have one piece of this rectangle. But then in order to divide it by 4, that would mean that I'm taking it and I'm cutting it into 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces. So now I have 8 pieces, but I didn't get 4/8. I took 1/2 and I cut it into 4, so that means that I'm just going to have one of these pieces. So I'm going to get 1/8. Let's prove that with math. My first step is to keep my first number, change my sign, so the opposite of multiplying is the opposite of dividing is to multiply. Said that backwards. And then we're going to flip the second number upside down. Because we changed the sign, we need to change our numbers. If we just change the sign and not our numbers, then we'd be solving a different problem. So 4 has invisible 1 underneath it. And when I flip it upside down, the 1's going to go on top and the 4 is going to go on the bottom. And then we go straight across the top and straight across the bottom. So we get 1/8. And then if we needed to, our last step is to simplify. Let's keep going. All right, fifth graders, it's already time for our lesson activity. As you can see, today's lesson is a pretty quick one. Here are steps to the side again. Keep, change, flip it upside down, then multiply and simplify. I did put one other thing here, and this is going to be important as we go through this unit. So here's our hint. If we start with a fraction, then our answer will also be a fraction. So start with a fraction, end with a fraction. Let's check that out. My first step is to keep 2/4, then change my sign, and then 3 has invisible 1 underneath, and we're gonna flip it upside down, which means 1's going to go to the top and 3 is going to go to the bottom. Then we're going to multiply straight across the top and straight across the bottom. 2 times 1 is 2, and 4 times 3 is 12. This one can simplify, and that is your job on your own to complete in your digital math notebook. Remember, when you're simplifying, you're looking for a little number, a factor that goes into both 2 and 12 in order to make it smaller. Great job, 5th graders. You're almost finished. When you feel comfortable with this lesson and all the information is in your digital math notebook, then go back and complete the exit slip. Great job!